Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we have a little bit of a content preview. Not a big one, and definitely not a new unit, but it does have some extreme bait in it. So, uh, preview for 3.4 to 3.8. So, we're just going to jump in. We have the Vengeance rerun, which is, I think, the thing that people have been waiting for the longest amount of time. Because the Vengeance team is still, to this day, one of the best teams in the game because it's extremely defensive, and the more they hit you and the more stacks of Vengeance you pawn on, the faster they die. And it may not be the fastest team that clears everything, but it's certainly one of the safest ones. And they have been doing their best ever since this meta came out to try and nerf it down, because Raphael by himself gives you guaranteed guard, puts 3 stacks of vengeance on, and then seals the enemy's attack up, crit up, and pierce up, and then gives your entire team element resistance for 2 turns. The guard is 1 turn, but the element resistance and seal is 2 turns. So Raphael by himself is doing like the skills of 6 different units. And that's why Raphael is such a coveted unit, and that's why he is at the top of the tier list. The rest of the team we'll talk about in a second, but this is going to get a lot of people, especially people who are not really that interested in this Tempest Elite meta with Shuna and Trainee. I could see a lot of people falling for this, and you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world, because the Vengeance team, if you're not worried about being top 10 in Jubilee every month, the Vengeance team will clear 99% of the game, except stages that hardcore nerf green orbs and seal like body and spirit skills and do things to the units that the Vengeance team can't counter. The Vengeance team will cover 99% of the game. So this is a 1 time per day multi, so you can't just spam the crap out of it. You have to do it once a day, and it goes from the 3rd until the 18th for me. So 15 days or so, give or take a little bit extra. And then every time you hit 30 pity, you can trade in for a 30% EX ticket. So this is going to get a lot of people. Looks like there's a pack that gives you a guaranteed EX character, which I assume is going to be one of the Vengeance characters. Yeah. We also have Valor Cup coming tomorrow, Ranked Valor coming tomorrow, which, fine. The rewards still suck, but it is only 20 fights, so it's not nearly as long. That's kind of cool. Yeah. We've got Demon Lord Dino's Rampant Reverie, also starting tomorrow night. And if you clear it 100 times, you can get up to 10 bitch tickets. So, whoop-de-doo. But there are generally some good things in the shop. This event, you can farm it a lot, and it gives you these crystals that you can then take into the shop, and you can get a 5-stone shard, you can get platinum hammers, you can get, I think, EX rocks. So it is something that is worth doing, and these generally aren't overly difficult. I'm sure the Overlord team will clear it, the Idols will clear it, Vengeance will clear it, the new Tempest Elite team might clear it because they're not very good right now. But this stage shouldn't be overly difficult, and it doesn't matter what difficulty you parallel process to get these 100 times, because it's all going to count. So you could just do the first stage and do that 100 times, and you're not in danger of dying, and you might not get as much of the crystal currency to trade in, but it's going to be fine. And then we also have weekend bingo missions. That starts on Thursday night. So overall, this doesn't have the next banner, because I don't expect it to come until probably the 7th or something, because this goes until the 8th because it's just it's bingo missions. So I expect us to get a content preview sometime around Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and that will announce the next Tempest Elite character. But going through it, going into the actual characters, and we'll take a look at Otherworld Legend right here. So it consists of free-to-play Yom, which it doesn't look like the beatdown battle is coming, so that's unfortunate, because Yom is great. One of the best free-to-play units, because he's got Vengeance. Raphael, I mean, we just talked about how good Raphael is. The vengeance charges, the guaranteed guard, the or the element resistance by 50%, and then seals attack, crit, and pierce. So the way they've been getting around this skill for Raphael is they've been raising physical attack, or magic attack, or element attack. We don't seal those things, so they can still take full damage. And they also don't do anything against synergy. So there are ways, or what I think the meta immediately after Vengeance did was they just sealed these skills. Like, you straight up couldn't use them for like 8 turns or something. So they have been going around trying to nerf this team. It still does pretty well if you can get it to run, especially since you can put free-to-play Isis on it, and with her green buff and orb changing, it just makes things run a lot better. Veldora and Shuna are not overly good on this team because we have a very defensive unit, an orb changer, and also defensive because his vengeance skill adds physical resistance. So we've got 2 very high defense characters. And then we have Veldora, who is giving weakness strike and more vengeance, and also stacking ult damage, which this team doesn't need. All these characters are defense growth. They don't have good attack stats. They have really high defense stats. Great. 80% weakness strike will make you hit like a normal unit. Congratulations. Ult damage, like, this is not a team that needs ult damage or weakness strike. I'm killing on vengeance charges alone, and I can guarantee you, Raphael, Velzard, and Yom by themselves will carry you through it. You do not need Veldora for all this damage bullshit. And then Shuna is a pure DPS character who happens to have vengeance, because she gives vengeance, and then she rushes her own ult by 50%. Neither of the things I really want, because ults on the vengeance team take away from green orbs. And Velzard is giving you extra skill points, and, well, if you're running the charm or something, extra protection gauge on greens. So the last thing that you really want on a vengeance team is ults, because it takes away from that 6 combo of greens. Her second skill, it swaps her stats. She has really high defense, like the rest of the team, and really low attack. But if you use this, all of a sudden she has really high attack and really low defense, or, give or take. And then she gives herself a 50% wind buff. So we've got ult rushing and a damage skill, essentially. It's essentially an attack buff and a wind attack buff. But we don't need that on the Vengeance team. So if you go into tomorrow's banner, pulling for Vengeance, and you pull Veldora or Shuna, I'm really sorry. Unless you already have Raphael and you need one of and you want one of these 2 just to complete the package, cool, fine. But if you're pulling for the Vengeance meta for the very first time, and you pull Shuna or you pull Veldora, they're really not going to do that much for you, because neither of them are defensive characters. Neither of them are going to help you win by, helping you tank better. They're going to help you output more damage with really, really low attack stats. And there's just no point for that. So you're looking for Raphael, and you are looking for Vengeance Velzard, because Velzard by herself is an incredible character. She puts a counterattack buff on all your units, your front line, and every time you get hit, it adds a stack of vengeance to the enemy. So if you take 6 attacks in a turn, that's 6 extra stacks of vengeance that the enemy just put on themselves, which in turn makes them kill themselves faster, because it just does more and more damage. She also gives you 250% skill point gain on greens, which means that like 3 greens are going to get you 90 points or something, and 4 is going to cap you out from 0. So that's very powerful, which is why, again, you want full hands of greens, not alts. And then she also resets the skill cost of everybody, not just the front line. All 5 units, in the back, in the front, doesn't matter, their skills get reset. We're just coming off of Overlord Rimuru and his protection skill, which also resets, but only the front line. So you have to bring people in and out in order to get them reset. Velzard doesn't really care. You could be in the back. You could have never been used before except for turn 1, and you could be 6 turns later. You use her, your skill's been reset, and you've just been chilling in the back. She is a fantastic protector because of adding Vengeance, and combined with a team that can't die, or is very, very difficult to die, it turns into one of the best teams in the game. So I know a lot of people are going to be tempted, and I honestly can't blame them because everybody's been waiting for this to happen. So, and if you really don't care about Tempest Elite, and you're not, you're don't really care about the future of the second 2.5 anniversary coming up in late April, then I think this is probably the best place to spend your crystals on, because it is a limited amount as well, and so you can't blow like 10,000 crystals. Well, no, you can't. You could blow as much as you possibly can, but it's a daily thing, and you may get lucky, and you could get that 30% ticket, and you could pull Raphael, you could pull Velzard, and I think that would be a great win for a lot of players. So that's what's coming tomorrow night. I will probably stream Valor Cup either tomorrow or Monday night, depending on how my schedule turns out. But yeah, Vengeance Rerun is here to bait everybody out of their crystals. A lot of people are going to fall for it. So, but that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.